Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Archer's Garage and Whatnot. Today, we're back in the garage, and we're doing a little bit of woodworking again. What are we doing today? Today, I'm building some coasters, and I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm working with epoxy, because I want to do an epoxy stripe through these coasters. I'm building them as Christmas presents for my co-workers. Every year, I like to do a little bit of something for them, and this year happens to be coasters. So anyway, I've never worked with epoxy, so I've done a lot of research on this good old YouTube thing, and I'm going to follow some of the guys' advice and see what I can do. So let's get started. Alright, so as you can see, I started with some 1x4 poplar, and I cut a groove in them. So I'm going to fill that groove with the epoxy. Sorry about the background noise, the neighborhood lawnmowers are going. So what I've done here at the edge, you can see where the groove comes all the way down. I've taken my frog tape and I've covered this up so the epoxy doesn't spill out of the end. And the epoxy that I'm using, it was an Amazon special. It was this stuff here. I've never used any epoxy, so I don't know good from bad, and I think we're going to try Ocean Blue. I ordered this pack of pigments off of Amazon, and doggone, they sent me, I'll bet you there's 24 different colors in there. So I feel it's a pretty good bargain. I don't know the quality of it, but it seems to be pretty decent because there is a lot of stuff in there. So anyhow, when we get to mixing, actually I got to finish taping, and then I'm going to get to mixing and fill the trough, I guess you would call that. So I'll be right back. Let me set you guys up. So simple enough, guys. All I'm doing, I'm putting 2 strips of this tape on the end of each board. And I'm sure there are bigger and better ways to do this, but I am just a novice when it comes to woodworking, and I'm figuring it out as I go, and this seemed to make sense to me, right? So there, that looks like it ought to hold. And I'll carry on with the rest of it, and I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so the instructions say mix it 50-50 resin and hardener. So here's the resin, and this one's the hardener. And then we'll mix in Ocean Blue mica powder. So I think, yeah, let's go ahead and pour this in so it's more accurate. Now they came with little measuring cups, but I think I'm gonna need more than just that measuring cup. So, oh, let's got a little cap on it. And thank goodness the mowing crew is done over here for now, so you guys don't have to listen to that while I'm trying to talk to you here. So I figure I'll do this by sight, get it good enough, and good enough is good enough, right? Okay. I figure, well, if I don't mix enough, mix some more. That's a good thing about being a novice. You don't have to know. You can kind of fumble your way through it. If it looks bad, you say, well, I didn't know. If it looks good, then you get all the praise. Alright. There we go. Let's see, that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. There we go. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. Now we'll mix in some of our Ocean Blue. Now it came with a little spoon and everything. Now just judging from the looks of this kit, I kind of like it. We'll see how the quality is once we get going on it. Ooh. Well, it's definitely bright. Good looking stuff there. Alright, so then we got to mix it up for 3 to 5 minutes. I'm not going to sit here and make you guys watch me mix this for 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and shut you guys off for now. I'll do my mixing and I'll turn you back on when I'm ready to pour. How about that? Alright, so I got it mixed up and it is very blue. I'll tell you what, that pigment a little bit goes a long way. And in case you're wondering, the reason I chose blue is we live here in Florida, and it seems like everybody has some sort of blue in their house because we live so close to the ocean, right? And I make all this stuff as a surprise to my co-workers, so it's not like I can ask them, hey, what's going to be matching your decor in your house? So I figured blue is a good safe bet. Looks like I'm definitely going to have to mix some more. So it looks like the amount that I poured, just a little more than I needed. So I need to pour quite a bit more into the cup next time. Well, that seems like a good blue. I like that. It sure does look nice. And also, let me grab my torch. With what I read online, you get all these little bubbles in there, and you can cook them out with the heat of the torch. Oh wow, yeah. I'm not even close to the thing, and it is just making the bubbles just go away. Oop, got a little close to that one. Apparently, the table isn't 100% flat here, and I'm puddling up over here. Something I didn't think about. Let's see. Well, that's going to be a little much. All kinds of little things you learn the first time you do them. Look at that. Well, that's better. And look in here, looks like my frog tape idea is holding, but not quite as good as I wanted it to. So I think next time I need to make sure my ends are really sanded so it gets a good grip on there, you know. But look over here where I use that torch, and almost all the bubbles are gone, and I didn't do much over here, and you still have bubbles. So just a little bit of that torch went a long way. Let me do some more. Set you guys back up here. Keeps going to one end there on me. Stack you guys up a little bit more. The good thing about this, you can make a mess. You're just gonna sand it off or plane it down later, so it'll be okay. It seems to me like woodworking is very forgiving. Coming from a mechanical background, that's very nice. Because with mechanics, you mess up, it's messed up. This stuff seems to be very forgiving. That's good. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. I think that is the right answer. Okay, let's see if I can do this without setting that rag on fire. So again, this just gets the bubbles worked out. It's kind of windy here today. We got a little bit of a cold front coming through here in the great state of Florida, which typically means it'll be very frigid tonight, kind of like 30 degrees or 35 degrees. And for Florida, that's pretty rough. So I'm going to shut you guys down for a little bit and clean up my mess here. The lesson learned here, I wanted to make enough to fill the channels on both of the remaining boards. So I figured, well, I'll just go ahead and do double the epoxy and resin and make it go that way, so I only have to mix it once. Well, it makes it harder to mix. So I guess just do a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time is the right way to do it. But we've already got it in the cup, so we'll make do with it. But that blue, man, when that sun hits it, whoo, that is a pretty color. We'll see how it turns out once it's all dried out. I won't be able to finish this until probably tomorrow, because of course the epoxy has to have time to set up, and it's going to be freezing out here. So I might wait a couple of days before I get back out here. I don't deal with cold very, very well. Pour these guys in there. Wind gets it, pushes it a little bit out of the groove. This is no joke today. Welcome to Florida. Nicely. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm having a lot of fun doing it, that's for sure. I'm going to top this one off. It's squeezing out the back end there, but let's see what that looks like. I hope the color comes across on the video as good as it does in real life, because this blue is absolutely amazing. And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch this before I post the video, and I'm gonna get it in the best sunlight that I can, because wow, it's pretty amazing. Very, very satisfying. It's like instant gratification, you know, when you do something and it looks good right away. That's what this is. It feels really good. So anyhow, I'm about done for today. I'm gonna go ahead and let this stuff set up. Next time, I'll put this through the planer, get it all smoothed out, then we'll cut it, and we'll make coasters out of it. So, all right, guys, I'll see you in a couple days. All right, well, it is the next day. Winter has officially set in here in Florida, which means we now wear long sleeves with our flip-flops. And with that, our epoxy is dry. We had a little bit of an issue with one of our boards. I'll show you that here in just a second. So as you see, this one here filled out nicely. It's a little low on this side, but I think the planer will take that out, because I got to plane all this down anyway, and they'll take that out. This one here appears to have spilled out past my frog tape, so I'm going to refill him. This one here, it's not so bad. It's a little low, but not too bad. Looks like, well, here, we caught us a mosquito. We've got a fossil. So we got that. So I'll probably try to plane this one down. I'll definitely plane this one down. And this one I'll refill. But so far so good. And man, I'm loving that blue. When the sunlight hits it, I don't know if it comes over across the camera here very well, but man, that is a very, very nice blue. So let me go ahead and set up the planer and we'll get to work on that. All right, so I've got my planer set up and I've got the first board set ready to go. One thing I want to say, the next time I do this, I think I'm going to make a jig or something, because if you see here, of course, it's all stuck together because the resin. I have been fighting to get all of this off of this one for about 15 minutes. And I wound up cutting this end off because it was so built up that I didn't want to send it through the planer like that, because I don't want it to be built up on the bottom and affect the top plane. So as you can see, this side here, this isn't quite as bad, but you still see the built up area. So what I'm gonna plane this back side of the board first, try to knock some of this down, and then flip it over and plane the pretty side. That way it doesn't have any imperfections on height. So that's what we're gonna do. And next time, like I said, I'm gonna try to make a jig to seal these off better. So that's what we're learning. All right, looks pretty good. So gonna plane this down a little bit more because it's got a little divot. But this side here is beautiful. There you have it, folks. I'm really happy with it. Now I just need to set up my jig on my table saw, cut these out in squares, I can sand all this down and make it perfect. Alright, so I've got them planed down. You see, nice and smooth there. Look good, nice thickness. And now I'm going to cut them out. So my board is a 1x4. Well, it started out as 1x4, but as everybody knows, it's not 1x4. It's actually like 3/4 by 3.5. So I'll take the 3.5, and I made myself a sled the other day. First time I actually get to use it, so I'm pretty excited about that. My little homemade sled here. So I've measured from my blade over to my stop, 3.5 inches. I've secured it here. Gonna mount that there, and then cut off so they'll be square, theoretically. So your sled does this number here, keeps everything nice and square. And what the sled does is it attaches to these grooves here in your table. Makes it all nice and uniform. So let's get to cutting. So essentially, this is what you're going to have. We're going to do this over and over and over. And then we'll sand them down, varnish them, make them pretty. But anyhow, that's what we've got. So over and over and over we go. Alright, so the next step in these things is to chamfer the edges. Now, you don't have to do this, but I want to. I don't want them to look just like a block. I want them to have some edge on here. I've got my router table set up. I'm going to put a slight edge on this. So let me set this camera up so you guys can see what we're doing here. Alright, I got you guys set up. I apologize, it may be a little noisy with this machine going. The router table's a little bit noisy, but you'll get to watch it. Here we go. There we have it. Love this stuff. Instant gratification. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest. I won't make you guys watch me do that, but next we'll be doing the ever-loving sanding. Everybody hates sanding, and I am one of those. But it's something that has to be done. We'll do it. Alright, we've got them all cut, routed, and sanded. They all look really nice. Now it's time for staining. I've got a couple that were too small. So you see it's not exactly square. They were at the end of the board, so they didn't quite make the cut. So I'm going to use those as test pieces for staining. Now my wife is notorious for wanting a combination of stains. She has chosen this one, say Minwax Provincial, and this one Minwax Driftwood. And we've done them on a couple of different projects that I've done here, and they've turned out really nice. So we're going to try this, and hopefully it matches everybody's interior colors. So we'll see, but it's a very mild color. We'll see how it goes, and we're going to put it on there as a test. I'm sure any of the hardcore woodworking people are going to scream at me for the way I stain, but it's okay. I've had good luck with it. So I just take a paper towel, dip it, apply, let it sit for a second, wipe it off. It's not rocket science here. And then I take the clean side of this one, and I dip it in that one, and I stain again. Like I said, I'm sure there's better ways to do it, and I'm sure the pros will hate me for showing you how to do this or how I do it, but I've had good luck with it. Here we go. So this is basically what we wind up with. This is what we started with. This is what we end up with. Can you see that? I'm not even looking in the camera. There we go. All right. So let me go see if the wifey poo likes it. And if she does, I'll stain the rest of them. All right. Welcome back, guys. Hopefully today is the last day of messing with these coasters. I'm going to put the polyurethane on them today. I'm going to put a bunch of coats on them today because if you think about it, people are putting drinks on these things. And I don't want the water to seep through and ruin these guys. So I've always had good luck with this stuff right here. It's really nice. I don't like real shiny, so this doesn't dry real shiny. It leaves a nice coat, but it doesn't take away from the beauty of the wood. So that's what I use. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and do my poly, and I will show you guys the final result when it's all done. So see you in a couple hours. All right, guys, final day on our coaster build. It is officially winter here in Florida. I am in my jacket. It is super cold out here. It's probably 45 out here right now, so it is cold. So what I'm doing now, I'm putting a finished sand on these. I've put about 3 to 4 coats of poly on these, so when people put their drinks down, if there's any condensation, it doesn't leak through and ruin the wood. Putting a finish coat on here, make them nice and smooth. Then I'm going to come through and put this poly on there because it dries nice and smooth, so it's nice. But yeah, sometimes when you're putting the brush poly, well, that one turned out pretty smooth. Sometimes it'll have a rough spot. I'm trying to find one to show you. When you put the brush poly on, it'll sometimes build up on you, or there's an imperfection in it, and I would just rather have it dry with this stuff so it dries nice and smooth. But anyway, that's what we're doing. This is what we wound up with, and I hope it comes out in the camera how beautiful this blue turned out. It is really nice, and I just appreciate you guys joining me on this little learning experience. This is my first time doing coasters, and it was definitely an experience. It's about a week's worth of work, and everything was a process with this. You know, cut the groove, pour the epoxy, let the epoxy set, then all the routing and the sanding. You know, it was a long process for such a small gift. But anyhow, well, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.